This is Get Up Morning on RTR FM 92.1, but now for something completely different. Australian Celtic music has been around a very long time and shaped some of our more recent stories in time. As part of Fringe, local Celtic collective JarrahCelts will be paying tribute to the genre with many a story to tell and fiddles to play over the next few nights. And the newly renovated Roleystone Theatre did kick off last night, and up in the hills we've got Chris on the line. Chris, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Yeah, it's thanks for joining us so early after a show last night. Like, is it a rock and roll lifestyle with the Celtic music?
Yeah, it was quite a buzz last night, and pretty tired at the moment, but yeah.
Well, so lots of mead, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Rum.
Yes. So you guys have been around for quite some time, but so is the music. I guess kind of colonial Australia's only a small part of the thousands of years that this land's been inhabited. But Celtic music's kind of been here since really kind of First Fleet kind of arriving, isn't it? It's something kind of ingrained in that post 1788 kind of culture of Australia.
Yeah, that's true. The Irish and the Scots, when they came over, whether they were settlers or convicts, I've got some convict ancestry.
Yeah.
They brought their music traditions, and that has bled its way into our own Western Australian culture here.
Yep.
What's interesting is that the number of Irish pubs. Everyone knows that we've got Irish pubs around. And,
yes.
Quite a lot of them here, and a lot of the names of those pubs kind of reflective of some of the stories and people that Irish people have passed through, like J.B. O'Reilly.
Mm.
He's a Irishman involved in the Catalpa rescue, and that's one of the songs we act out on stage with the performers during the show.
And it's also kind of infused with local influence as well, isn't it? Like not just from kind of Noongar culture, but other cultures as well.
When it comes to Australian Celtic, probably isn't a well-known genre. It's kind of one that's evolving, but it's I'm Australian-born, and so I'm not Irish or Scottish, but my ancestors were. But I'm really Australian. So with our songs, we play some original music in the show. In our own music, where we put elements into that, which events of this land and ourselves, contain within. So we're influenced by, our own home, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this kind of Celtic music kind of stretches in all different ways as well. Like, I guess the Pogues come from a kind of punk background, and they were doing their thing, and then you've got Christy Moore, and then you've got the Dubliners, and some of it's traditional, some of it's kind of just really set in modern times as well.
Yeah, a lot of it's storytelling too. That's what this show is about, is the stories behind the lyrics. And as well, there's also instrumentals that don't have any lyrics in them at all, but they also have stories behind them, particularly going way back to Irish mythology and folklore, really. So, yeah, and these stories, like you say, have been around for hundreds of years. Some of the music we play has been written down maybe 150 years ago, but they've been verbally spoken and passed on for who knows how long. I was taught some of the Irish music by Sean Doherty. He runs what's called Cultus, which is an Irish music association, and he would say that some of the tunes have been around for 400 years, but no one really knows because no one wrote these tunes down.
And you'll kind of look at an album or something, and the songwriter's in brackets kind of traditional or just trad, because it's unknown. So with the show, you've got the band, but you've also got performers acting out as well, or is it you guys doing it all?
Oh, well, we're musicians, the JarrahCelts.
Yeah.
We're musicians. The band started up at a local pub here down in the Elizabethan village in Armidale or Bedfordale.
Yep. Up in the hills there.
We're musicians. Yeah. But we're joined by the Roleystone Theatre players, and they're the actors. So that's been quite an awesome experience. So I've had to write scripts for them, which has been quite interesting.
Yeah.
And these guys have spent 2 days a week for the last 2 months rehearsing and working out what they're going to do. And it's just, I'm just totally in awe of these guys. They make it so funny.
Do you know what they're going to do as well?
Yeah, I know what they're going to do now because we've gone through. And I think this might be the difference between actors and musicians. Quite often musicians, well, particularly when we play, we'll put a bit of a jam in the song and you don't know what's going to happen. But the actors are quite strict in what they're going to do, and they repeat that each time. I guess they all have to coordinate with each other, particularly in this show. There's there's fight scenes, there's romances, there's all sorts of stuff going on in this show. So yeah, that's all pretty well planned out and rehearsed. And we had nothing to go on except for the lyrics of the song. So
yep.
That's why this show is a bit different.
So it's a theatre of the mind almost. You can kind of use the lyrics to imagine what you want.
Yeah, well, the lyrics in the stories, especially the Celtic stories, are pretty specific, but there's still a lot to play with, particularly maybe clothing and direction on stage and that side of things. So one of the songs we sing is Raggle Taggle Gypsy-O, and there's a video of myself and Dave Cooper, band member, playing on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, of the song itself. And if you listen to the song, it's a story about a Scottish noble lady who forsakes her fortune for the love of gypsy, and she runs off with this gypsy.
Cool.
So that's one of the songs we do, and it's quite funny to visually see it, you know. So yeah.
So have you done anything like this before at somewhere like, because you play down at the medieval festivals, like the one in Boddington, Ballingup, which of course is a really big medieval event as well, and also the Highland Gathering in Armidale, or has that always mainly strictly been you guys on stage doing music, telling stories that way?
Well, we do different things at different events like those. Another great one is the High Fantasy Ball, which people dress up as fantasy characters, but also in black tie, and that's up at Midland. For that, we do ballroom dancing. I say, well, it's really Cayley dancing, but we show people how to dance, and there'll be like 300 people dancing in fairy costumes and elven ears and that kind of thing. Like
something from the Wicker Man, like celebrating a harvest or something like that.
Yeah, totally. There'll be Wicker characters there for sure. And that's awesome. So that's a bit different as well. But Highland Gathering, that's just Scottish. So
yep.
That's, put your kilts on and, have a bit of a hoedown. And of course, if you haven't gone to Ballingup Medieval Festival, that's just awesome, especially on the Saturday where they burn the dragon.
Yeah.
At night. And
sounds very Blazing Swan.
Yeah. I think they've been doing it for 20 years.
Yep.
Or no, more. Maybe it's 40 years. Gosh, I don't. Oh, yeah. They've been doing it for a very long time, Ballingup, anyway.
With music that's gone through decades and decades and hundreds of years. The show's up at the now refurbished Roleystone Theatre, which is now back open, which is great to see. So the performances are on tonight, where tickets are selling fast, and tomorrow night as well.
Yeah. The last 2 shows that I've got tickets is tonight and tomorrow night, and
yep.
The first 2 nights sold out, but yeah, it's been an awesome response. The theatre holds about 100 people, so it's kind of intimate enough.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's really great. The story about Roleystone Theatre too is another awesome story, maybe for another time.
Yes.
It's been around for about 100 years.
Yep.
And I'm a Roleystone resident as well, and we almost lost the theatre. The theatre had been built and tacked on by members of the community for almost a century, and their building procedures weren't quite sound, and they use a lot of asbestos and all that. And the city council a few years back got wind of it all and condemned the building. So the Roleystone Theatre players lost their theatre.
Yeah, they were in the local community centre or something, weren't they?
Oh, they were all over the place. And that was very hard for them because you need to have staging and lights and all this sort of stuff. It's not all about the theatre, it's about the people that run the theatre and the Roleystone Theatre players themselves. And not just the actors, but the crew and the helpers, the front of house. It's a really great, strong community, and they pulled through all of that. And the community as a whole across Perth have voiced their opinions.
Support,
support, and the council, Almondale Council, threw some money in, and they've built this brand new theatre, and they've made it look exactly like the old theatre, except that it's modern. It's got air conditioning
and doesn't have asbestos.
And does have asbestos. Is great. What's awesome about the new building is that when you walk in the foyer, you look at the floor, you'll see this wood with paints, and it's a funny mosaic-coloured floor, and it's the old stage of the Roleystone Theatre, and they've reused the boards. Yeah, put it in the foyer. So when you look at each little speck of paint, that was a show, sometime in the last century.
Painting sets, yeah. Well, you guys are on, and also I just got to say quickly, they're doing a production of Assassins as well, which is a fun comedy musical about the assassination of US presidents. So it's really good. Go and see it. And that's going to be on soon. But you guys are playing tonight and tomorrow night for the final two shows of the run at the Roleystone Theatre. Check out you guys on socials as well for JarrahCelts.
Totally.
Yep.
We need more people to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Because when we get over a certain amount, we can have this membership area. And what we want to do is start live streaming just to our members.
Yeah.
Of rehearsals and have some interaction while we're doing our rehearsals. Not something a band normally wants general public to see, but the plan was to go more sort of virtual. The JarrahCelts, we're not playing strictly to Irish standards and Scottish standards, but we evolve and change and adapt. Sort of the fusion of sometimes a bit of jazz and that sort of type of stuff. To see that in progress while it's evolving, I think it'd be interesting, and having feedback from people whether they think it's good or not.
So get on the YouTubes. We've got to leave it there. Chris, thank you so much for getting up this early and having a chat. So you guys are playing tonight and tomorrow night up at Roleystone Theatre, and then check out your socials for other events.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot for having us on the show.
No problem. Good luck tonight. Break a leg.
Cheers.
Chris Horgan there from the JarrahCelts, and they're doing their fringe show up there tonight with Celtic Songlines at the Roleystone Theatre, featuring a performance from the local theatre company as well, and it's going to be a great night.